Good morning, afternoon, or evening. I am Father Sam Sheridan. This is St. Paul's Episcopal Church in Petersburg, and you have stumbled on the announcements for the month of October for starting in November. Our video announcements are because our Sunday morning announcements cannot be nearly as long as they should be to get through everything. So I'm going to start off by telling you just a little bit about the shape of the calendar. Then I'm going to go through each thing in a little bit more detail than you get on Sunday mornings. Because I do know not everybody reads the bells. I do know not everybody reads the e-blast. I do know that sometimes you read something and it goes right in the eyeballs, right out. That happens to me at least. I presume it happens to some of y'all. So what we have coming up tomorrow, if you're looking at this on, what is today? The 24th. If you're looking at it on October 24th, when I upload this video, we have Trunk or Treat tomorrow. Come, bring candy, bring the back of your car, wear a costume, sign up online, and come bring your children to go through the Trunk or Treat. At the same time, we're going to have the church open to people who might wander by, want to come in and see our beautiful sanctuary. I've got 2 or 3 volunteers that are not related to the Trunk or Treat that are going to be upstairs helping me usher people into the clothes closet if they so desire. We're going to try to mix all of our public events with showing off the church that we have. Letting people know that we exist, letting people know this beautiful sanctuary is here, encouraging people to think of St. Paul's as more than whatever they heard about when they were going to Washington Methodist 40 years ago. We want to put St. Paul's into the public consciousness. So we're going to open our doors more. We're going to advertise our clothes closet more. We've got Buddy Lee, who sometimes plays down at the farmer's market, playing music. We've got popcorn and candy machines out back. It's going to be an exciting trunk or treat this year and next year. Then we're coming up on normal Sunday, a morning prayer next week, October 28th, for St. Simon and St. Jude. There will be no service on Saturday, November 1st. That would be All Saints' Day. Some years we have done services for All Saints' Day. This year, we are not doing anything on that Saturday. What we are doing, we have also always done, is All Saints' Sunday. The following day, that's November 2nd. So if you have a name of a loved one who's died, even if you are certain we remember, even if I went and presided at the burial, if you want to make sure that we include your loved one's name in the necrology, you need to let the office know. Partially for spelling reasons, partially because often people die and get included on the prayer list after the bells have been printed. So sort of by the way we print things in our calendar, we will almost surely miss somebody, but not if you, their loved one, their survivors, tell us, hey, remember so-and-so? We would like them to be a part of the memorials that we read on All Saints' Day or All Saints' Sunday. Now, the following week is going to be our observance of Veterans Day. That's November 9th. That week, November 13th, is one of our, I think maybe our last Hope Center lunch for the year. We need someone to coordinate the schedules for the Hope Center lunches that we do next year. If we don't find a coordinator, it will be the days I'm willing to do it. And I'll still want somebody to help lead some meals. So if you're willing to lead a meal, but you don't want to take on the calendar, come talk to me. If you aren't willing to do any of the meals, but you would be fine scheduling some and talking to Linda Ruffin over at the Hope Center, talk to me about that too. Ellen Smith has graciously taken this on for this year. And the last time she took on something for a year, she was the bookkeeper and she ended up doing it for a decade. We're not going to do that to her again. So grateful for her. So love Ellen that we are not doing that to her again. She said 1 year, we're taking her seriously. I need somebody to help me with 2026. Now, November 22nd, we're getting towards the end of next month. That is a parish workday, and it is the greening of the church. That's come and look at the yard. That's come and polish some things in the sanctuary. That's come and hang some garlands because we're getting ready for Christmas. And that's our opportunity to say, like, hey, we're going to have some visitors and some guests. Let's make the place look as nice as it can. The following week, we would have a Thanksgiving Eve agape meal. We've done that 3 years in a row. This year, we are not going to do it. The first one was very well attended. The next less. The next I couldn't even make it for family reasons. So we're going to try to do our next agape meal, not on the eve of a major holiday. I will probably record some kind of sermon, some kind of service, some kind of prayers for that day, because there is a liturgy for Thanksgiving. Many Episcopalians don't even know it exists because we're all with our families on Thanksgiving. Let me tell you a little bit now about Advent, because this is important. You know, we'll come out of Thanksgiving Eve, we'll come out of that week to Christ the King. And that will be the Sunday that is the end of the church year. And then we're in Advent. And Advent is, on some levels, very normal. You know, it's a penitential season here at St. Paul's. So all 4 weeks of Advent, we're going to do Rite One services at every service. That's the thee, thy, thou language. What we have been doing is taking what's called the Anglican Services book, and it has renderings of the Rite Two prayers from the 1979 Book of Common Prayer, and it's put it in the Rite One language. That way, the 8 o'clock service and the 10:30 service are having the same experience. We're going to do a version of that, only we're going to use the 1929 prayer book. Maybe 1928 prayer book. I haven't said it out loud in a while. We're going to use the old prayer book form. There is an annotated and illustrated version. I'm going to print one bulletin for the whole season and enough copies that we can make it through all 4 of those weeks. We are going to just hand out the readings separately as an insert, the bells separately as an insert. We're going to do that 1929 prayer with some explanations in the bulletin about, you know, what it is and why it's the way that it is. Now, that's going to be very familiar to people who grew up with that prayer. And it might be totally wild and new if you've never done it before. If people like it, we may do it again. If people are like, this is terrible, it's only 4 weeks. So we will go back to using the Anglican Services book when we go to Lent. The Christmas dinner is Sunday, December 14th. There is no Christmas lessons and carols that day, partially because of our staff musician situation, partially because what I experienced is my very first day here was a lessons and carols, and there were over 110 people at lessons and carols, and the next year there were 30, and the next year there were 2, and they were late, and so we didn't end up doing it. For those reasons and the lack of staff musician, we're not going to do an Advent lessons and carols this year. But the Christmas dinner is still happening on December 21st. Now, I will tell you there is a Blue Christmas service, which is strangely not on my calendar, so that's going to have to make it in another list. Why would I not include that? What a silly... Oh, it's the 4th week of Advent. Okay, there we go. I'm so sorry. I'm not going to edit this video. You just are going to know this now. It is December 21st in the evening. Blue Christmas is for people who don't think the holidays are necessarily all that happy. People who are bereaved, people who are grieving, people who have had someone die, people who are in need of healing prayers, people who grew up depressed or had bad family lives. There are all sorts of reasons you might want a Christmas service that has nothing to do with joy, because life is hard. I am probably one of those people, even though I'm going to have my best joyful Christmas smiley face on throughout the season of Advent and Christmas. I need some acknowledgement that the world is not always going the way that it should. So on the evening of the fourth Sunday of Advent, we're going to do a blue Christmas service. That will involve healing prayers and a reflection on what it means to look for God's coming into this world if you are suffering. Because that is what God came to save us from. Christmas Eve is going to be normal. There's an early and a late service, one with the Christmas pageant tableau, one with the candlelight and as much music as we can drum up. If you know musicians, we want to hire them to come play something on Christmas Eve. Buck and I are looking around. Christmas morning, there will be a Eucharist. That is normal. And then Sunday, December 28th, this is really important because I definitely inadequately prepared people for this the 3 years that I've been here so far. The Sunday after Christmas morning. So this is the first Sunday of Christmas, December 28th. We are going to have a service of Christmas lessons and carols. The Advent lessons and carols comes to us from after trench warfare in World War I. The depravity of human sin was a major theme, and a service that had existed became a service of lament for what was then the Great War, done by King's College in somewhere in Britain. That's the version that the BBC started broadcasting yearly. It is totally unrelated, except by the name, to the joy-filled Christmas lessons and carols that we have done the whole time I've been here on Christmas, on the Sunday after Christmas. So that's a joint service. That's at 9:30. I haven't moved Advent lessons and carols. I canceled it, partially because of lack of attendance, partially because of lack of staff musician. I have not replaced it with Christmas lessons and carols. I just am doing what we've done the whole time I've been here. And my lack of communication has helped other people to not quite understand, like, why is he moving things? Why is he changing things? Other than canceling a service that no one attended last year because we have no staff musician, there is no change. And moving the Blue Christmas, okay. Other than that, and moving the Blue Christmas service from the third Sunday of Advent, because I don't want to do the Blue Christmas service and then go downstairs for a Christmas party. Why would you reflect on sadness and then go to a party? That's crazy. That's what we've got going on. Those are the video announcements. Those are the long form, and however many minutes it's been, this is why we don't do the whole announcements during the service. That's what's going on in your bells. That's what's going on in your emails. That's what's happening over the next couple of months. God bless you, and come to as much of it as you can. Your church loves it when you're here. If you've never been to St. Paul's before, but some of this interests you, come down anyway. We would love to meet you. I hope you have a beautiful and blessed rest of your season after Pentecost. And I look forward to celebrating Christ the King Sunday, the end of the church year, and the beginning of Advent with you. Y'all come.